Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we take the complicated strategic pivots and digital assets and turn them into the most interesting conversation you'll have all day. And today, we are deep diving into a name everyone knows, or thinks they know, OpenSea.
That's right. And look, a lot of people probably filed them away mentally as that NFT site that got beaten by Blur, but they've just undergone a complete metamorphosis.
It's huge. Our sources are all pointing to this massive transformation. They're moving from a niche marketplace to, well, what they hope will be the central nervous system for the whole digital economy.
And it's not just a paint job. This is a foundational shift they're calling OpenSea 2.0, or OS2 for short.
Right, and the timing is key. This whole pivot is what's paving the way for the launch of their CEA token, which everyone's been waiting for. It's set for Q1 2026.
So our mission today is to distill what this shift really means for you, the user, and for the entire crypto landscape.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
So to really get the genius of OS2, you first have to remember the pain, the sheer headache they're solving.
Oh, yeah.
Think back to, say, 2022. If you were active in crypto, the on-chain experience was a true nightmare of fragmentation.
It was a disaster. I mean, especially if you were trying to do more than one thing. Imagine you wanted to trade a regular crypto token on Ethereum, right? But you saw a piece of digital art, an NFT, that you just loved, and it was on a completely separate chain, like Solana.
I remember spending 45 terrifying minutes trying to bridge tokens during a gas spike, just to buy one thing. It was complicated, it was expensive, and you always felt like you were one wrong click away from losing everything.
Exactly. You needed Uniswap for one thing, a totally different NFT platform for another, and then these separate, super confusing bridges just to move your money between them.
It was a mess.
Total mess. And OpenSea realized that this was the biggest barrier for mass adoption. It wasn't the assets, it was the fragmentation of the entire on-chain economy. It was just too much for a normal person.
So if that fragmentation was the problem, the idea they've come up with is, well, it's a radical change of identity.
Completely.
OpenSea used to be the eBay for crypto collecting, right? Just digital art and JPEGs. That's totally gone now.
That identity is history. Their mission has fundamentally shifted. They are not trying to be a niche collector site anymore. The new vision is to be the one-stop shop.
The home for the on-chain economy.
Exactly.
The analogy we came up with, I think, makes this crystal clear. Forget eBay. OpenSea 2.0 is trying to become the digital superstore. Think of it like Amazon, a currency exchange, and a global logistics company, all rolled into one seamless app.
That's the perfect description, because the goal now is to trade everything. NFTs, for sure, but now also fungible tokens, your standard crypto assets, and they're even planning for derivatives in the future.
So this is a play for complete market dominance.
Across everything. All forms of digital trading.
That's a huge vision. But how do they pull off this cross-chain magic without making the interface even more complex than what they're trying to replace?
Right, that's the key. And it comes down to two components working together silently. First, you have the interface, OS2. It acts as a multi-chain aggregator.
So it's pulling everything together.
Exactly. It pools liquidity, so all the available tokens and assets from over 22 different blockchains, Ethereum, Solana, Polygon, Arbitrum, you name it.
So that interface is the storefront. What's the engine?
The engine is their open source Seaport protocol. That's the real innovation here.
And what does that do?
It's designed for extreme flexibility. It allows for complex bartering, like offering an NFT plus some tokens for another asset. But for the user, the most important part is it's highly gas efficient. It keeps costs down.
Okay, but the real magic for the retail user is that cross-chain purchasing feature.
Yes. That's what ties it all together.
So let's use that real-world example again. How does this simplify my life if I just want to buy something?
Okay, so let's say you've got your standard ETH just sitting in your Ethereum mainnet wallet.
Right.
And you find this amazing asset you just have to have, but it's listed on the base network.
The old way, that's a whole process.
The old way is a 30-minute headache. The new way, you just hit buy on OpenSea, you use your Ethereum wallet to pay, and OS2 handles all the messy, complex stuff, the token swaps, the bridging, all of it instantly under the hood.
So I just see one transaction.
You just see one simple confirmation. It just works.
The tech is impressive, no doubt, solves a huge user experience problem. But for a business this big to thrive, you need two things: regulatory certainty and a solid economic model. Let's talk about the SEC.
This is probably the most critical part of their whole strategy. OpenSea has a effectively eliminated its biggest existential risk,
Which was?
a long, drawn-out investigation by the US SEC. But in February 2025, the SEC officially closed it. They decided not to pursue any charges.
Wow. That is a game changer. So are they basically the only major U.S. crypto platform with that kind of clean bill of health right now?
For a major centralized platform, yes, it is a massive competitive advantage. In a market where that regulatory cloud hangs over so many companies, OpenSea went through the fire and came out clean.
That builds a ton of trust.
A huge amount of trust. It's vital for attracting institutional money and just cementing their role as a serious financial player, not just a fun collector's bazaar.
Okay, so that certainty allows them to launch this ambitious token model with COA. And this model feels like a direct response to what their competitors did.
It is. It's a total rebuttal. If you look at the competition, like Blur, they used an inflationary token model. They just kept printing BUR tokens and paying them out to users to get them to trade.
Right, which created huge volume in the short term, but it also meant there was this constant selling pressure on the token. It felt a little like a Ponzi scheme, didn't it?
It had that dynamic. You needed more and more users just to keep the price from collapsing. OpenSea is doing the exact opposite with CO. It's a mature, deflationary by design approach.
How so?
They're committing 50% of all platform revenue. And remember, that's now from massive token trading, not just NFTs, to automatically buy back CEA tokens from the open market.
So that buyback is the key. The token's value is directly tied to how well the business is actually doing. It creates a constant buyer.
A constant structural buyer.
But I have to challenge this a bit. Hasn't that inflationary model, for all its faults, proven to be a pretty effective growth hack in the short term? Isn't OpenSea taking a big risk by going for this slower, more mature model?
It's a calculated risk, for sure. They're betting on stability over hype. They're prioritizing long-term value over those quick, maybe temporary volume spikes. This is a model that appeals to a different kind of investor.
More institutional.
Institutional long-term holders. People who want tokens that act more like equity in a real profitable business, not just a speculative chip. It's a statement about where they think the industry needs to go, towards sustainability.
Okay, even with all of that, a deep dive isn't complete without talking about the dark clouds, the risks. And the first one is all about that volume, isn't it?
It's the elephant in the room. I mean, on paper, the transformation looks like a massive success. Their total monthly trading volume shot up to $2.6 billion in October 2025.
Which is huge, considering where they were. So what's the catch?
The catch is the composition of that volume. Our sources say a massive 90% of that $2.6 billion is from trading fungible tokens, regular crypto, not NFTs.
Okay.
So now we have to ask the critical question. Is this organic trading from people who love the new platform, or is it artificial farming?
Meaning, are users just trading back and forth, creating fake activity to qualify for that big Q1 2026 SEA airdrop?
Exactly. If that $2.6 billion in volume is mostly airdrop farmers, then the revenue feeding that crucial 50% buyback could just evaporate.
It could vanish overnight after the token launches.
Almost instantly. So they are betting that this volume becomes sticky and organic very, very quickly. If it doesn't, the whole value proposition of the token is at risk.
That puts a lot of pressure on the launch.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about risk B, this chronic security issue they seem to have.
Yeah, this is a persistent weak spot. The sources confirm multiple serious incidents with their third-party vendors. The worst one was a massive email leak.
How massive?
Over 7 million user addresses became public.
7 million. That's not a leak. That's a catastrophe for the users.
It is, because that public list allowed hackers to launch these super targeted phishing attacks against OpenSea's most active traders. So for the average retail user, this is a chronic issue that just keeps popping up.
And it puts their community constantly on high alert. Not a good way.
Not at all.
All right, finally, let's touch on their execution risk. They're moving into a whole new, highly regulated derivatives.
Yes, the plan is to launch trading in perpetual futures. Now, for anyone unfamiliar, these are complex financial products.
High-stakes betting, basically.
Essentially, yeah. You're betting on the price movement of an asset without actually owning it. And this is a monumental move. It fits their trade everything goal, but it's a huge technical and regulatory challenge.
This puts them under a new microscope.
A completely different one. If they get into derivatives, they are squarely under the watchful eye of the CFTC, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission. That is a whole different league of compliance they have to master.
Okay, so if we step back and try to summarize this whole thing in just a sentence or two. OpenSea successfully transformed from just an NFT site into a comprehensive super aggregator for all digital assets. They're leveraging that rare U.S. regulatory clearance and the unique token model that's tied directly to all this massive new trading volume.
That's the whole story. They're not just fighting over the digital art market anymore. They are betting their entire future on becoming the simplest, most dominant trading layer for everything on the blockchain.
It's an ambitious bet.
A huge one. And
Yeah.
they're capitalizing on that hard-won regulatory stamp of approval and a really sophisticated economic model to do it.
Okay, so let's leave our listener with a final thought to mull over.
Right. So for you to consider as you go about your day, the sources indicate that the Sevier token launch in Q1 2026 will immediately unlock a huge chunk, around 25% of the total supply for the community through that airdrop.
Okay.
The big question is this. Will the excitement from that huge airdrop plus the launch of their new mobile app be enough to turn that $2.6 billion in monthly trading volume from artificial farming into truly organic, stable commercial activity? Or will that revenue just vanish and challenge the very foundation of the Sevier buyback model?
If you found this interesting, please like and subscribe to the channel. We do all the complex research so you don't have to. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.